Hi. Hi. Thank you, Snail Princess, for my beautiful gift. Hello, people from the internet. Long time no see. Luapsy here, and we're doing a talking day, YouTube essay style. It's academic, artistic Luapsy, and we're gonna chit chat about I Met the Devil in a Dream, my up and coming album. Second album, for you guys that don't know, I have an album out. It's called Bodhisattva. This is my second album. The album, I Met the Devil in a Dream, came from literally me having lots and lots of recurring nightmares. Back in 2020, I started a journal, a dream journal, where I would write down everything that I would see in my dreams and bring into therapy because I need therapy. So I would make this little dream journal and be like, this is in my unconscious mind, blah, 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 blah. I started to have a lot of nightmares, and honestly, I literally had nightmares where I would meet the devil. I always had a fascination with the macabre, with the occult and hidden things. That's something that I've always been obsessed with, and learning about literally just like occult sciences and things that are hidden and unknown. And I've always loved horror movies and, you know, those scary little taboo topics in our society since I was like very young. I was always really drawn into watching horror movies. I love horror movies. I'm a big fan of horror, and I think I've always brought that up in my art. That shows up in my aesthetic, in other music videos that I've made, and just in general in my whole aesthetic and vibe, because it's something I always loved, and I feel like that does show through in the aesthetic and art direction of the album. Me and my partner in production and studio, Marcelo Miranda, is a great, one of the greats. Amazing musicians here from Rio in Brazil. And we worked on this album together. And it's been such a delightful experience to be able to bring in these songs that were written from dark, dense places. I didn't tell you because I forgot to say, but I also wrote a lot of the songs while I was in a period of shadow work. And don't do shadow work if you don't do therapy. I was in therapy during this whole time. Yeah, things happened, a lot happened. But it was shadow work, and a lot of what I've been through became songs. It was a sort of actually like ritualistic and symbolic experience. The main thing about the album is like this whole archetypal journey of women in society, and how us as women, we are trying to purify ourselves and prove us to be pure and honest and good. I just like really loved the ghostly goth aesthetic, and you know, like strictly like wearing white instead of strictly wearing black, and mostly color coordinating outfits to be white and everything like that. And I think that was a big inspiration for me in the making of this album, was doing this like white ghost goth thing. I don't like the term white goth, but this like ghostly goth thing, because it's like this girl, and it's not like a girl, it's just like an archetypal being thing. Like in Nosferatu, it's about having these haunting night terrors where you are just like shaken to your core and brought up with topics about female sexuality and repression of rage and all of that, and trying to be good. And that's why I dabbed into the thing about the ghostly like aesthetic, because it's like this character trying to purify herself, trying to prove herself good and pure, and through the avoidance of the absence of light, which is darker colors, darker shades, she's trying to prove herself pure. That's why I like crosses. And my great friend Lau made a headpiece for me, not this one. This one was made by Snail Princess, Darling Beauty. But for my first performances, my great friend Lau, who is a great stylist and makeup artist, he made this headpiece for me. Fashion designer, like Lau does everything. Lau is incredible. He made like this headpiece, and I would wear it on mostly all the shows, all the first videos. I'm wearing this headpiece. And I love it. I love the fact that there's a cross right in my third eye. And I think that's like a beautiful symbolism. Whenever I'm working on an album, I tend to take it really deeply, beautifully, seriously, as if it were a movie, as if I were writing a script and directing my own movie. Me as an artist, I try to separate myself from the art. I'm just a channeler. I receive information, I channel, I create. As Rick Rubin says, us as artists, we tap into this unknown, and we have our antennas tuned, and then we grab these ideas from the unknown, and we are the ones that are meant to manifest them. And if we don't, therefore someone else can grab it and create it. And this was something I tapped into the unknown. I grabbed it, I created it. It's like a movie. And yeah, I think I'm like blah 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 blah, but I feel like you guys get it. Cinema brought its own shadows into this album. The Exorcist, Possession, Nosferatu. These films live where horror meets poetry. They're not only about fear, they're about transformation, about the fragile line between human and unhuman, about desire, repression, and what happens when something inside us breaks open, especially female taboos in society. The atmosphere of unease and beauty became the backbone of my sound, and also the visual imagery of the album. These female taboos in society that we can see very well in movies like Possession, Nosferatu, and The Exorcist, for example, but mostly Possession and Nosferatu. I found myself connected to these storylines and honestly touched and moved, and I was like, I gotta do something like that. And my albums end up being cinematic. To create albums, I have the voice to sing, I have the poetry to write the lyrics, and I have the creativity to create the imagery. So that's what I try to do. And I feel like nowadays, with music, my storylines get to more people. I hope you enjoyed the album. I hope you subscribe so that you can know more about me, listen to my music, stream my music, follow me on TikTok, on Instagram, on Spotify, on everywhere. I am Luapsy. Maybe you'll see me playing a show in a city near you, and yay! Bye guys, enjoy the album. I'm so happy I got to make the album. I hope you enjoy the album. I hope you have a lovely experience listening to the album.